Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? And welcome to a market overview video, but it is not about a trade. It's a weekly overview video. Now, I had asked a lot of you guys in my Discord and some of my inner circle members what they wanted to see on YouTube as far as the free content goes. And a lot of people were asking for just my opinion on the market overall, whether that be on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. And I think that since this is the first Sunday since I started doing these market overview videos, it would be cool to do a daily bias video or a weekly bias video, in this case, for the upcoming week. So I wanted to just go over what my thoughts are on current price and where I think price is going to go in this next upcoming week. And yeah, obviously, first and foremost, go use code BOTHA on all of these prop firms if you want the best deal. Goat Funded Futures, Funded Next, and Alpha Futures right now with code BOTHA are all 50% off. And then obviously Tradeify and My Funded Futures as well are discounted. So let's get into it. I'm going to move my camera into the top right corner. Boom. And let's talk about the market. So coming into and I do these, by the way, every single week in my exclusive Discord as well on the Q&A session. Every single Sunday we have a Q&A, and I go over my weekly bias and things like that too. So if you're ever interested in joining up that, then you will be able to see it every single week instead of just a one-off time. But anyway, let's see here. Boom. So first thing I'm looking at is the weekly and the daily time frame. Normally I don't really look at the weekly time frame, but since we are in a weekly imbalance, I felt that it was important to look at it for this example. Now, I felt that this weekly candle close inside of that weekly imbalance was actually a pretty strong one, and I was expecting, to be completely honest, if we were going to be bullish, for us to continue higher towards all-time highs on NQ. Now, we've already hit all-time highs on ES, and so we have an SMT currently at the high of price for ES and NQ combined. And so I wanted to just see price come out of that weekly imbalance and just have an immediate reaction to the upside, which we didn't end up getting last week. So that was a little bit weird and something that kind of definitely threw my bias off for this upcoming week. But nonetheless, on the 4-hour time frame, we are still making higher highs and higher lows, except for this most recent 4-hour candle. It looks like maybe we could potentially make a lower low on this higher time frame leg. So for me personally, honestly, I think that right now I'm a little bit more bearish overall. And the main reason for that bearish bias is just because if we look at this overall range, right, this daily range, since we had this wickless daily candle out of that weekly gap, we can just see that price is actually aligned perfectly at the 50% with a daily PD array right here. So for me personally, I definitely want to see price come a little bit lower, because after getting that weekly tap into the fair value gap and sweeping this daily swing low, I expected us to see a move to the upside that we didn't really see. And I genuinely think that price could continue lower. We've made all-time high on ES, and NQ is just not seeming to take out all this higher time frame liquidity that we were seeing to the left of us right here. Boom. All of these highs, in my opinion, should have been taken out by now. I personally feel that these candles should have all been bullish if we were going to continue higher, and this impulse move that we made should not really be retracing until this 50% mark and not going higher. Like, if I guess I explained that a little bit weird, but what I'm trying to say is that price should realistically, if we are truly bullish, be continuing out of this weekly gap higher. Now, I'm not seeing that, so what I'm saying for right now for this upcoming week is that I would like to be bullish, or I like to be bearish down lower towards this 50% of this daily range right here. Essentially just making this move. All right, I fucked that up, but you guys know what I'm trying to say here. I want to draw this out correctly. There we go. This is what I'm looking to see. I want to see price trade lower into this daily imbalance with this, 50% of this daily range. And I personally think that that's where price is going to have some sort of maybe move to the upside. And if we honestly push through that daily imbalance into, towards 618 and 786 of this overall range, I personally think that price will probably just continue to go lower, and we won't see that move back to the upside, potentially for a little bit longer. So right now, weekly candle looks like it'll probably flip bearish. In my personal opinion, I think that price definitely has the ability to go lower, and overall for this upcoming week, I'm definitely going to be looking for a bearish bias. Now, Asia session for right now, let's look at it, because obviously Asia session and the overnight session is going to kind of set us up for Monday open. So if we look at where price is at right now, as far as SMTs and imbalances and things like that on the higher time frame, we're not really doing much. We kind of have this big hourly, candle that we moved down on Friday, right? This is, New York AM session. This is basically that entire candle is New York AM for Friday. And we've just been kind of playing around within that range, right? So we have a bunch of these lows right now that we're leaving on ES, right? All this low resistance liquidity down here that I'd like to see price come and take out. And I honestly think that if price can't break through, right, this, like these highs right here, I don't think that we should have any reason to go higher. I think we should continue lower and at least bare minimum break through this range and take out these lows down here as well. So that's what I personally see on the hourly time frame. Same thing on the 15-minute time frame. Right now we can see potentially even a motion model setup setting up right here. We can see this SMT with this high. Do we have an SMT? No, not with that high, but we do have an SMT with this high right here for sure. So we do have an SMT on the higher time frame. Potential for us to be taking this short right here. We also can see that this 15-minute gap was tapped into prior, and we have a 5-minute gap as well. We're making this move to the downside. So actually, probably could have taken a motion model short somewhere up here. If we look, let's see. Doesn't look like it anywhere here. I guess technically right here you could count it. Got swept. Yeah. Potentially could have taken some short from here. If we look, where is it? This would be probably where I would be most comfortable taking a short. Obviously, if the range permits it, right? Let's just say, yeah, not bad. 30-point stop to the Asia high. SMT. Not bad. Double SMT. We also inverted the 5-minute gap as well, so that's good confirmation too. So yeah, you definitely could have taken a trade off of this internal SMT here, off open. You also could have just had a standard 25-point stop. If you look here, right, and you could have caught this trade for a 1 to 2, just off trading Asia session open, right, at the 8 p.m. macro. That's when we ended up closing. Where is it? Right here. 8:04, I guess. We started to make our move down at 8 p.m., but 8:04 is when we actually got this candle closure. And you can see, obviously, price would have ended up running to a 1 to 2, as well as a 1 to 3 on this trade, and then also a 1 to 4. So really not bad motion model setup. Definitely could have taken that from the Asia session high and aligning with our higher time frame bias as well. So really not a bad setup, and already one good motion model trade coming into this new week. So overall, going to be bearish on this week. Want to see what happens on the overnight session during Asia and London. Potentially see if we can maybe come down and start targeting these lows for New York AM tomorrow. But yeah, that's my market overview for the week and also a little bit for today. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that in the comments down below. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, and we will end up seeing what happens this week. Now, I could 100% be wrong on this. I've been wrong about my weekly bias before, but we'll see what ends up happening. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.